Yes.
All right, say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We don't have those box of Kleenex. Thank you.
Consider for approval minutes and agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and the agenda.
I'll second it.
Got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensvold to approve the minutes and agenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, motion carries. We're ready for it. Does he not look at his agenda?
Every week.
I must use my theory, and just as soon you wait for me as me wait for you.
We're supposed to base that on numbers, with one person waiting versus five people waiting.
Oh.
Ours is times 5.
We're more important.
Only because we're a bigger number.
So if he had justification, there was 10 people on the other side waiting for him, then that,
Yeah, there you go.
Doesn't matter, we're still more important.
Wow.
and we don't know how many people out there
We
waiting
are-
for us.
We are
This is the
quite,
Board of Supervisors, that's the road department, which one's more important? That's just gonna-
Can we base it on
Does it?
emails?
Depends on which day you're talking about. If
Oh,
it's a
well, that's
snowstorm,
true, yeah.
if it's a-
I'm gonna tell Chris to put drainage first every week, because she'll be on time.
there you go. We are
Watch
quite
that.
possibly,
Watch that happen.
we are quite possibly the most important people at this meeting.
That's right, we are.
All 5 of us?
Yeah. Which
Well, I
one?
included
Which
you all
one?
in it. Normally I say that, yeah. I mean, when I used to drive truck and I'd be talking to some guy I didn't know on the CB, and then I'd sound quite possibly the smartest man driving my truck.
I would
You're right.
like to do drainage since we're waiting.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. We'll do auditor's office, we'll discuss drainage matters.
I don't really have anything. It's wet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's,
It is what?
I have talked to Gary Helgeson about that project.
DD1, that one?
Yeah,
Okay.
gonna look into it.
Okay, thank you.
You guys have anything?
I just have
I
had,
do.
oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, you started first.
I don't even really know, I can't remember what it was. I had people ask about the District 2-3 joint drainage thing, and that was really only about, I just want to clarify, some additional properties that were put into it, right? Pretty much?
Wait, we are reclassifying the whole district.
Okay,
And so we're annexing in the lands that should be in it, that weren't ever in it.
okay,
Just making sure that we're cleaning up those outlying areas. And then there was a couple laterals that at some point the district thought they were in there, but they're not. And so when Colin was going through all of the 700 pages that he was looking at,
sure.
they wanted to build a lateral and then they ended up not, but somehow it's on the schedule. So he's cleaning all of that up.
Okay,
And so
so it's really just adding in some areas and cleaning up anything that was incorrect before. I
correct.
just had a lot of calls about it, so that's
Right,
kind of what I've
and
been telling
so a
people
lot of
because I had
people,
this.
yes, and a lot of people say in the city of Lake Mills,
Mm-hmm.
Their parcel may have been missed. Just cleaning up those outlying areas,
Okay,
and it shouldn't affect them. I think if on the report it's an estimate, say if there was an estimate of $898,000, they would owe $10. I mean,
yeah.
it's not very much at all.
It
It's
just
not-
it encompasses a lot of people,
it does.
so of
Yep.
course,
A lot of people-
everybody I see.
Yeah,
A lot
right.
of people that have no idea that they're in a drainage district.
right. And
Or know what it means.
And
Yeah.
some people within the city feel like theirs should be going into the city sewer and whatever, and I said, well, our tile was there first, so a lot of that tile goes into ours and whatever, and so your surface water still goes to our tile, and so I try to explain
And
that
a
as best
lot
I
of
can.
surface water, like more, because it doesn't have any place to go.
Yes, so,
And this also reclassifies it as far as who pays what. It could just.
Right, make sure the benefit is correct. You know, and I hope that I've been explaining it well enough to people when they call in.
And
Like you
then-
said, when they don't know that they have a drainage district, some people don't even know what that is. So I hope I'm
So
explaining.
they
it
all
okay.
got letters?
Every person in the district got a letter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's all I had, except for has anyone done any work out at Rice Lake on that open ditch that was falling in?
Oh, I don't recall right
Okay.
now. I'll check into that.
Thanks.
Bill, do you have something?
Yeah, that, DD 21, I guess, there's a few of them that wanna start the process for an improvement on the lane.
Okay. Oh, right, by Rake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You can see the water standing there, can you?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. So what I would like to have happen is we do have improvement petitions, but I would like 2, 3, 4 landowners, not just one, to make sure that more people want it than just say one guy
Mhm.
before we get into it, if that's okay,
Yeah,
to let them know that.
yeah, there's two for sure that, are talking about it.
Yeah. Because it will be a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, I told him, it's one of those things that just may not happen, I said, you can start the process, but it
Right.
don't stop, so.
Yeah. And DD 21 has been reclassified, so that should be current
Mhm.
as far as landowners go.
But, is there just the regular petitions, or is there special?
No, I have a different one. I can give you that.
All right, then I'll
Yeah.
get some signatures on
That'd be great.
it. Alrighty,
Did you talk to Derek about the problem in Thompson then?
he's already been there.
Okay.
We went in there and dug, there's, even in the non-perf tile that they put in already, the roots had already grown up into that, so where either they found a place to get into it. So he's opened it up, I believe it started draining, so.
Yep.
And,
Is it something that we're going to have to get with the landowner to cut down some of those trees? This,
Oh, he's
This
all
is-
for cutting the trees down. He just doesn't have a lot of extra money to do it.
okay,
I mean, he doesn't have a problem with them removing the trees.
okay,
So we have to look at what our options there are. It's probably cheaper to remove the trees than it is to do like they did out of Bruce and lay some of that stuff through there.
well, and it's going to keep happening, so if they,
I don't know, yeah, we need to do something.
Mhm.
Probably gonna have to move a vehicle or two before that happens.
No, yeah, there may be an Iron Man involved with some of that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
There's some collectibles out there, I thought were pretty cool.
there's a lot of stuff in there.
Which one's this?
Right in Thompson, basically.
What was the number of that one?
Oh,
south of my mom's.
Northwest part of
Yeah, right
Thompson.
next to
Yeah. DG.
Trudy and,
It's Dan Swearingen's
Okay.
and
Yeah.
the adjacent property and
The tile, the main actually goes underneath the
Pile of corn.
ring for the corn, the elevator's corn.
Mm-hmm.
they built right on top of it.
Yeah,
okay.
And so did the guy across the street.
Yep.
Built a
That was the
building.
lateral. No, that is the main, goes across the
all
street.
right, but we did discuss that, because we told him that in the future that there may be an expense where we're gonna have to go
Mhm.
around his shed if there was some kind of a
Or
problem
if it
underneath it.
is underneath his shed, we're going in.
Well, no, I thought we discussed that we would just go around his shed. Just
Well,
by-
if there's a problem underneath there,
Yeah, but if you go around it, you've,
abandon the part
Just
underneath.
abandon the part.
abandoned the part underneath his shed, and, 'cause I
Build
would-
new.
Then that'd have to be at his expense.
Yeah, no, that was discussed, if I remember right.
All right. Anything else? All right, we'll go back to engineer's office, discuss the secondary road matters.
We've made some progress in our building plans in the last couple days, and so I wanted to give you an update on what we've been working on. First, we found an interested buyer or a seller for some property north of town here. We have yet to kind of come full circle with them and try to make a deal, just because we've been trying to talk to multiple owners. Some of them have returned our calls, some haven't. We ultimately found 2 people interested in one that I think we can make a deal with. We've estimated the cost for a building package, a salt shed, and the site preparation. We worked with a couple of building manufacturers and general contractors to try to get us some hard numbers on what it would take to build something. So we have really tight numbers, I think, for our building at about $885,000.
And that's just on the maintenance building?
That's the maintenance building. It includes the building would be 60 by 150, which is the same size as Lake Mills. It would include a 20 by 20 office just to try and free up some space for pickups inside the shop. It has all the HVAC and crane and airlines, all the conduits and everything, all that's included in that building package. Salt shed would be about $150,000. And then the site prep about $155,000, which most of that would be our own crews able to complete that work. It's topsoil removal, it's earthwork, building the building pad, bringing in rock for the building and also the yard. We'd have to hire out, of course, the well and water line. It includes things like electrical service, gas service, that sort of thing. Survey. About $155,000. So the total of all those numbers is just short of $1.3 million. And so then back to where's the money coming from? We have $800,000 in the budget. We can sell our Sunnyside gravel pit property, which hard to estimate the cost with how marginal the ground is out there, but I'm using a number of $365,000 right now. Our Fourth City shop property, $300,000 for the sale of that, and then the $35,000 for the sale of the salt shed property. That adds up to $1.5 million. So if you throw in some contingencies and inflation by the time we get things bid, I think those numbers come together about even, about $1.5 million.
Did the 1.3 million include on the build side, the property?
We have $85,000 for the property acquisition, which is $25,000 an acre for 3.4 acres. And we haven't. That number could go up or down based on whatever is fair and amenable to both parties. 3.4 acres is a little bit less than our Lake Mills property. It's quite a bit more than our Buffalo property. Get a feel for it. Lake Mills has got a lot of room for stockpiles, and Buffalo Center is pretty tight. We can get our normal 5,000 ton stockpile there, but nothing extra. We can't have extra piles or have, milling stockpiled there or anything like that. So I think we need a little more room.
Do either of those have the salt sheds?
They both have salt sheds. The Buffalo Center has like a more pole shed basically, and the Lake Mills has a hoop. So this is planning to have the pole building with the bunker walls inside. This is new shop buildings get a lot of attention, I think, for counties. This is kind of a no frills project. Ethan and I have worked hard to make sure that this project is on a budget and only what we need. It doesn't have extra space. It doesn't have extra amenities. It's pretty much bare bones for what a new facility can be. I think that's important that everybody know we're trying to squeeze every dollar we can into this project, while the other option being sinking quite a bit of maintenance money into our current facility.
And you're still stuck with a small footprint.
Yeah. I mean, it's just some of the things that we aren't able to take advantage of. And even in Buffalo, like here's an example, we have R20 planned for paving next year. And most likely to include some milling work, and they're gonna end up with, let's say, 5,000 to 8,000 tons of millings. We'll need to stockpile that somewhere. So instead of stockpiling it in our Buffalo yard, we might have to rent space from somebody to put a stockpile on. And we don't know exactly where that'll be. So there's things like that that come up frequently that are, limited because of how much space we have. But in Lake Mills, we've had millings piles there for, a couple of years at a time, and that's, I think, helped with efficiencies of the paving projects, but also sometimes leaves us with material that we can use at our leisure. And
So if you're gonna sell this building up here, do you separate the other building, or is it both buildings?
I think right now they're parceled out as, the courthouse maintenance building, the kind of flat top building down there, that's a separate parcel. But then the garage, the 4-stall newer shop, and the 4-stall older shop are all on one parcel.
Okay.
And then I suppose if we were to sell them, we would maybe option it out. The salt shed property is separate too, of course. Let's see what somebody wants to buy, I guess.
So beyond the courthouse maintenance building, you said there's 3 buildings on that other part?
The 4-stall garage, unheated. And then there's the 4-stall shop, the newer one from 99, and then the old 4-stall shop that is in not as good a condition from 1945.
Until it's time to sell it then.
So these numbers that you gave us do not include the courthouse maintenance shop to sell.
Right.
Right.
I think most of the value for selling down there is in the newer 4-bay shop. I think most of the value's there, but we'd have to do some talking with maybe real estate agent or something about how to package that.
There's probably a lot of buyers for that other, unheated garage too.
Sure, heck of a nice garage. If, for unheated garages go, could easily be insulated and finished. And even salt shed property, it's a pole building with an open front, you could easily enclose it. The dome building is probably not a lot of value there. The roof is in poor condition and it's like an awkward shape for parking vehicles in or anything.
What will you do do you want to build this before you get the money?
Well,
Because what will you do if they don't sell right away?
right, so we have some in the budget, and
And that's in the next budget.
this coming budget, we also have probably enough money in our cash balance to be able to float for the time being. So,
Didn't we put some money in the budget, in this budget, or was it
it is in this current budget,
rolling
and then we
forward to next?
pretty much told you we aren't going to spend that, so we rolled it forward.
Okay, so the money's already sitting there.
Nice.
That
Yeah, the other
What
thing,
was that dollar amount? Do you remember?
800,000.
Or was that 800?
Yeah. I don't know if it's worth discussing, but we could possibly borrow a small amount of money for a short period of time.
a construction loan type thing.
Yeah, I think there's a threshold for what you can borrow without a public hearing or something that we could maybe do short term. I don't know if we really need to get into that at this point. I don't think so. But I would think the properties I've leaned toward auction, so I don't know if, it'd be like a house sitting on the market for a year. I don't think we'd have that kind of situation. Maybe this one we would list and keep on the market and see what shows up, but farmland typically sells better at auction, I think.
What are those, what's that all zoned there? All of this? I mean,
I would think it'd be a commercial.
Yeah, and we looked this up when we worked on it.
We
unless they rezone you.
which I think, storage and anything like that would work, or shop would work.
In commercial?
My shop used to be zoned commercial, and then they decided to do a rezoning thing in Buffalo Center, and now it's, even though I think I grandfather in on with the next person, it would be residential.
So that doesn't, the grandfather doesn't pass forward if you.
Evidently not, that's what I was told, I mean, this happened years ago, I have to refresh myself on it.
Well, the city here had approved our, our
Improvement.
variance or something for a project, so I wouldn't think that they would inhibit anybody else from developing the property any further.
Have you checked with State Line as far as their fertilizer plant out there? They've got a lot of area out back there that they don't use. They don't
Yeah.
Stockpile out there.
Yeah, when we were working on the bridge project, I had asked them about stockpiling some dirt there, and they said that would be okay. They got some drainage issues back there that,
Well, there's some standing water back there that you would have to.
Yeah.
It hasn't been standing for the last few years, but it was standing.
yeah, so no, that's a good option. We also
It's
thought,
relatively close, and it's got quite a bit of room back there, even with, water.
sure, yeah, maybe land us too up in Rake, but that depends on if we wanna haul it all north before we haul it all south.
Landis has got a lot more going on up there. I don't,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of where. I mean, they own property on the north side of the blacktop there. They have some nursing sitting there at one point. I don't know what's sitting there now.
Other than stockpiling, what are the other advantages?
To this location?
Mhm.
Well, right now we stockpile at Sunnyside, so that all of our limestone stockpile gets hauled to Sunnyside, and then part of it gets hauled backwards in the summer. Our operations are based on winter stockpiling and fast hauling in the summer. So we gotta have all the material here so that we can get through all of our road resurfacing. So it puts our stockpile basically en route to the rest of the county. So we could stockpile any amount of material there, and it would, be productive to hauling it to the rest of the county. It's located right on the beginning of one of our routes, 844 going west.
So that's kind of all stockpiling.
That's such a big deal for us, yeah, I mean, stockpiling is one of the things that differentiates all the counties in the state about where their rock sources are and what they have to do and size their equipment to be able to use those materials. We have trucks sized to haul pup trailers so that we can stockpile, whereas a lot of counties just hire it all out, right? Because the quarries, there's one in each part of the county, so they just have trucks for plowing snow, whereas we have dual purpose trucks. It's such a, important thing about the county's road budget. We're on a state highway, good access,
It's a US
both
highway.
there.
Forget that. Funding forgets that.
Yeah,
Put the wear and tear on something other than our secondary roads,
Yeah.
as much as possible.
yeah.
Commercial,
Commercial?
Another advantage to the site that we have our eye on is that it has a nice hill, so we wouldn't have to bring in any fill to build a pad or anything like that. Which is most cases, you think, they don't look pretty good, but
A lot
you
of
just,
the expense.
you want it to be 2-3 feet higher than the yard, so it just takes a lot of material. So I'd say proximity to snow routes and on the way for stockpiling are the primary reasons why that location works out well for us. Also, we're a dusty operation too, so we don't really want to be too close to town.
So you're looking at 3.4 acres.
Yeah.
Is there a limit to what the guy will sell, or?
Yeah, we haven't really got even that far into it. We had an initial meeting, both parties interested, can probably come together on it. but just haven't got to that point. I didn't really want to say we'll buy it without having kind of a plan we know we can fund and, you know, support from you guys.
It's always easy to run the ordinance. You have to start too conservative.
Yeah,
Yeah, our lake mouth shop's that property is a little bit bigger, cause there was always plans to put a cold storage shed up there at some point in the future. That's why that one I think is a little bit bigger, but I mean, there's a lot of times that we run into at Lake Mills where we stockpile, but then Heartland or Industrial, or they use our yard too for projects, and it ends up getting tighter, but
sure, yeah, parking lots for a lot of different projects.
yeah. I wouldn't go any smaller than that.
Yeah.
Buffalo Center's really tight.
Yeah, there's not a lot of extra. They can just barely turn around with the pumps.
Yeah, it's definitely limits our stockpiling. I mean, we fill it to the max at that 5,000. Can't really get much more, otherwise you're blocking doors and stuff like that.
I guess if you look into the research on what you can and can't do as far as a temporary, you know, funding until things are sold, that's probably the key point.
I can look into that. I can also do a little bit more of an in-depth review of what's in our cash balance. See if we can just amend some money into the budget and
Are we gonna,
backfill it with
do you
the
think
sale.
we'll use all of our rock money in that budget, or since it's a better spring this year?
Yeah, you know, the way that we've been approaching that lately is if we don't need as much rock, we go ahead and buy it and we get it in a pile. And, you know, that helped us because, I mean, last year we had to amend so much into our fuel budget, we backed off the rock. And then, you know, a couple years before that, we had increased our pile sizes. And then when budget got tight, then we just used from stockpile instead of hauling from Fertile. So it's kind of helps us balance between good and bad years. Rock doesn't deteriorate in a pile, so it's good to have it on hand. And we've also got crushed concrete pile that we bought and certain things like that that we can sort of pay ahead, I guess. So that's, you know, I hate to short on rock if we don't have to, but.
There's always the year coming up. It could be a lot worse too, like
Yeah.
a couple of years ago when we had such horrible frost floods everywhere.
Right, that year we spent 100,000 extra on rock, just, I mean, back and forth from Fertile all summer, because we didn't have time to stockpile and needed so much extra for spot loads. Just hate to be in that kind of position. So, at this point, I guess I'm looking for what other reservations you guys have that I can, you know, help with information. I'd like to approach the landowner about an informal or even maybe a formal offer to be drawn up into a purchase agreement later.
My main concern is, you know, is the market good right now for sales of this property? You know, to get that 1.5 number that you're looking for with interest rates
Yeah,
high, and, you know, are the buyers gonna be there?
There's a lot of nervousness in the world today about what's
Sure.
come with the economy too, and there's also the things that the state seems to be doing with our ability to do things, and so you sometimes wonder whether this is the time to spend anything on anything new. It was nice. I mean, and the building will make you guys more efficient. I mean, there's a lot of positives to it, but then there's also, you still gotta be paid for it. I mean, your estimates are good, but I found lately that almost everything, whether it's a nature center or in addition to public health, it seems like things don't come in under bid.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done.
You might wanna talk to a few realtors and just see how the market is moving right now on commercial.
Yeah, I will say, we did look everywhere trying to find something else that might even work for us, and there's almost nothing on the market like this. So, we'd be listing a property that is unique. And so, that always helps the value, I think. And
How
then
did you come up with the numbers that you think are estimates for sales on those?
Yeah, I did talk to a realtor a while back about comparables in town, and it is so hard to find anything similar. There were, at the time, it was like the old Kaiser Auto building was for sale, but we're talking about an auto mechanic shop. It doesn't have the same parameters, the door sizes, the ceiling height, that kind of thing. And then there's pole buildings that sell all the time on farms that, you can't hardly capture the value in the sale. So it's more of just a discussion among a realtor and brainstorming among us what we think it could bring, also based on the cost it would for someone to build something like that.
How many acres is Sunnyside?
It's a short 80. It's got, I think it's 79 acres total. It's got something like 52 tillable, and it's got some trees and honeysuckles, shrubs that could probably be yanked out. I don't know.
Is there an open pond out there?
There's a nice open pond. It's pretty deep too. The word is it has nice fishing. It's be a really cool place to build a cabin or a house or something like that.
Do you know what the CSR is on that? 52?
I'm guessing it's down there.
Half of it floods, half of it is dry. I don't know that number off the top of my head, but I talked to an ag property guy about it, and he said to estimate it, the best we can do is take the farmland, estimate it based on CSR, and just ignore all the other 30-some acres. Pretty much just assume it's worthless, just for the sake of putting a value to it. Again, it's pretty useless if you're farming to have a pond in the middle, but if you're a recreationalist, much more value to it. Not too far from where they've done a nice job with Three Fingers capitalizing on old gravel pit ponds. Nice driveway. We do think we would have to do some work with a dozer and an excavator out there to shape things up, pull some of the volunteer trees out, and do some grading around the whole pond to get it officially off the mining registration.
How big is it?
Is it 3-4 acre pond?
I don't think it's quite that big. Just haven't looked at it. Hides in the back, don't really look at it very
Yeah,
often.
no, it's not something you see from the road, so.
Yeah. Try not to advertise that it's back there. It's hard to keep people
And
out.
there are people that know it's there.
Oh yeah, I've talked to a couple who like to sneak out there, go fishing, so.
Yeah, the problem is it's an active mine still, so that's why nobody can go there.
Susan, the other thing I'll say about the market is that the one general contractor we've been talking to about this project said the prices of building materials has gone down a notable amount since last year, and they're, with the ag markets the way they are, they're looking for work. So there may be as much to gain on the side of construction costs as there would be to lose on the side of buyer nervousness, for new properties.
I've heard that as well. They're hungry.
5.9 acre pond, about 6 acre pond.
Bigger than I thought it was.
Not quite enough to go skiing on anyway.
It's down quite a bit now. So
Oh, I think I've launched it less.
Yeah. Last time I tried it, the boat couldn't get me out of the water. But the jet ski did.
Well, so on the site prep number, you said 155,000, most of that was gonna be done by your guys.
Yeah, let's say, take off the well and water line.
How about sewer?
Yeah, I think we can put the septic in ourselves and
Some costs of materials.
yeah, right. So, I don't know, 130,000 or something, and, that's our equipment and labor, so, our equipment and labor is not the same as buying and paying a contract. It is still, value. We have a short bridge year this year, so, we would probably have time this fall if that happened to work out.
Along with the site prep for sale of the study center.
Yeah, that might work this fall if that
Further
were,
work and.
I guess I think we'd be ready to move forward and kind of get a lot of that going.
So even with all the other projects that may end up getting funded, do you feel like you have time?
Yeah, I mean, we ultimately steered all that funding to paving and maintenance treatments pretty much, so it didn't really put a lot on our guys. We've been thinking about ways to have our guys do some things like shouldering or hauling or things like that, and it won't be very much. We can't do our own paving, so that's where most of the money was going.
Well, I guess if you can come back with some of the answers that we need.
Okay.
All right, anything else for roads?
No.
All right, move on. Thank you, gentlemen. Open forum?
This didn't get stamped last week. It needs to be stamped approved, please.
That's last week or?
But
Last week.
it must not have would have passed me then. I don't remember seeing it. It can't be my fault. You want last week's date?
Yes, please.
Sure, it's still there. There we go. I must not get a sign either,
It did not.
so then it should have been caught then, so that tells me even more. Oh, there it is, it's right there, and sign.
I didn't flip the page.
I knew it wasn't my fault.
So now you gotta sign it again, I suppose, otherwise it looks unapproved.
Look at me go.
Flip the page.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome.
Isn't it right?
Yeah, I saved
Yeah.
it.
Anything else for open forum?
Because on the front where they see it, and I won't.
All right, seeing nothing else for open forum, consider for approval appointments and fiscal year salary increases.
I thought we were talking about farm. No, just during secondary roads.
Each one of these need to be stamped separate.
Approved, please.
Each page.
Yes.
This week's stamp.
Good grade.
You know, this way, you did this on purpose, you decoyed me thinking I had it set for,
It
you
is.
know.
No,
What is
And
it?
when
just
you're
I
right,
already
you're
did a
right.
stamp on this date that was fine.
There's a real word for that. What is that? Ghost? It's not ghost. Ghosting or something.
Yeah, it's just,
There's a real word for
that
that.
was a complete setup.
Carla. Good job, Carla, actually.
I didn't mean to.
Good thing I noticed.
We all needed a new good laugh this morning.
I'll make sure I stamp the right one.
What, is it called hazing? I don't know. Is that what it-
That'd be a real word.
Again,
Come on, wordsmith, what is that when you're?
It would be hazing, that would be yes.
and I think this may be a group effort. Somehow you gotta bring me down to your level.
Well, when we step back like that, yes.
Just be the best you can be,
Good job.
whatever level that.
Oh, shoot.
Now, each one of those has to have different dates, by the way. You forgot about that.
He's gonna sign one today, one tomorrow.
Don't make me think. I mean, I realize you guys, the only way you can get me down there, but it's like I always used to tell people, I says, I'm not quite a god, but I am held a lot more than just a man.
You're stamping.
Got a little blasphemous around here.
Imaginations run wild around here.
Waiting for a lightning bolt.
I was just thinking that.
You would think there's a law against that.
We gotta look at the legislature, see what they've done this year. Maybe there's.
We do have Hepperly in there, so. Help us out.
He didn't bring enough backup to take it.
Those are fighting words.
Excuse me while I move to the other side of the room.
Last fight I was in, I must have well over 100 yards.
I'm sure you did. Fastest you've ever run.
Fear is a great motivator.
That's what Jason always says. I can run a lot faster here than she can mad.
Smart man.
Yeah, we learned that in marriage.
Who's got the fastest car? Who has the fastest vehicle?
I think I do. Yeah.
You can make the motion.
Made a motion to approve the fiscal year salary increases. You want me to make that motion, Zach?
And appointments.
Oh. I'll make a motion to approve appointments and fiscal year salary increases.
Do these have to be in order? Okay.
Just another chance there, you had to stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a heck of a responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Only given to a privileged few.
Try this.
So we have an open motion on the floor that hasn't been seconded, so
It's because I haven't
Yes,
seen, I haven't.
can't discuss anything.
Oh, that's.
She's still looking.
Yeah.
Must have been some slight changes in the conservation board. Did they just not have the right
It's called
denominator?
math.
I mean, they weren't moving the knots correctly.
If they can't do math, we have to do their math for them.
There's a couple other ones too.
Yeah. I think there's two places for me to sign on this one. Can I go through and make sure that-
I'll second the approval of appointments and fiscal year salary increases.
Got a motion from Jens Holt and second from Smith to approve the appointments and fiscal year salary increases for next year. All those in favor say aye.
Right?
Aye.
All those opposed? Did I miss one?
Well, everybody's gotta sign that one.
Oh,
Carried.
Did you steal my paperclip?
this one? She did.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I like to tell other people.
It's a team effort.
Thank you.
Consider for approval canceling of old warrants.
So let's see. We stand to that for.
Yes, please.
A specific date.
You know, whatever makes you happy.
Yes, yeah, is there,
Today would be great. I
or
mean,
would you like it for the 21st for next Tuesday, or?
no, today is good.
Throw them off and make it tomorrow.
It all depends on what motion somebody makes.
Now you gotta sign it tomorrow.
So I make the motion to approve canceling of the old warrants for date May 14th.
And there's one from the recorder's office too,
Yeah.
that you're reading now, yeah.
Two checks on here. I'll second it. You made the motion, right?
On a motion from Smith and a second from Jensvold to cancel old warrants. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Consider for approval auditors transfers.
A lot of drainage going on.
Yeah, just,
This time
there's
I sold
some
it.
laterals that are no longer, so we're just moving the money to the main ditch. And that way just cleans it all up.
The motion to approve the auditor's transfers.
I'll second.
Got a motion from Smith and a second from Jensel to approve the auditor's transfer. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Approve, consider to approve county claims.
That was a question I had, but I can't think of it.
Notice.
Maybe it's the same one.
What is sector?
Is that some of their,
Batteries and
Stuff
different
for
things
their
like that.
radios and stuff.
I think so. I think they're doing a project or something.
It says
Or
new
that's
equip-
the
new-
services.
New equipment on this one. This one always has a little different, description.
Is that for public, or,
It's for,
sheriff?
Sheriffs, yeah.
Oh, that might be, their,
laptop?
like their laptops and their cameras that they wear.
Body cams.
Yeah,
All that software.
yeah.
Yeah, they were with some new stuff, updating it.
Yeah. Kevin got something from a similar sounding company yesterday
Yeah.
that was batteries. That's what.
Striker.
Striker,
That
thank
was
you.
it. Yep, yep. Too many vendors.
Wasn't he an airplane?
Yes,
Striker?
yes.
Oh,
He was the fill-in pilot.
okay. I wouldn't know these things.
I don't know.
You guys need to watch the airplane. It's funny.
Oh, I've seen it, but I didn't.
My favorite part is when they're coming in for the crash landing or whatever, and all the emergency equipment is coming out of this hangar, and they have a 2+2 international tractor in the middle of all of it. The nickname for those tractors used to be an anteater, because they were kind of a funny looking thing, you know? It was just like, where did they come up with that?
That was the start of product placement.
That's right, it is.
I'll make the motion to approve the county claims.
I'll second.
A motion from Smith and a second from Jensel to approve the county claims. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Did you say aye?
Did. Oh, man.
Please.
No, we-
Sorry, no, I'm out.
Qualified,
I am
let the
not
records
qualified.
reflect that there were only 3 yay votes, no
Just
yay.
following direction.
No, she was just giving us our marching orders ahead of time. You know, it says, now we know who's really in
I
control.
really have to go now.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Thank you for your
I
support.
wanna get some sleep.
I believe that concludes our agenda for the day. We stand adjourned.
Thank goodness.
That was.
Do we need to put an extra seat, just?
Oh my gosh.